Welcome to Witch Way. I'm Elise, and these are my top 5 witchy movies and series of Witch Way Season 4. Let's start with films. 1. Hexen. This 1922 horror essay film begins with a portrayal of beliefs on witchcraft during the end of the medieval period. It then takes us through a fictional witch trial taking place in 1433, before then theorizing on what could have led to these beliefs and comparing the actions of these people to the modern occurrences in the 1920s. This film can be considered the first documentary on witches and has some great commentary on the validity of outrageous forced confessions. It takes inspiration from writings on witches during the peak of the witch trials, such as the Malleus Maleficarum and Compendium Maleficarum, to depict their stunning scenes of witches at their Sabbath. This film still holds up over 100 years after its initial release. 2. Wolfwalkers. This 2020 animated family adventure film is set in 1650, where Robin, a young English girl, moves to Kilkenny with her father, who is hired by the Lord Protector to cull the wolves outside the city walls. Intent to join her father in his hunt, Robin sneaks out into the woods and indeed encounters a wolf, but one with a secret. This is Mab, a wolf walker, girl by day and wolf by night, and her mother's wolf form is missing. The two girls form a friendship, but the fear and misunderstanding the city dwellers have of the forest may just lead to the end of the wolf walkers. This film is about setting aside differences, about friendship and our connection with the natural world. It's beautifully animated and rich with Irish folklore and symbolism. It is actually part of a folklore trilogy, but I have yet to check out the others, The Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea. 3. The Unbinding. This 2023 documentary follows Dana and Greg Newkirk, paranormal researchers and the curators of the Newkirk Museum of the Paranormal. They are sent an object that is even too volatile for their collection, the crone. Paranormal activity surrounds this carved wooden statue, and they embark on the process of uncovering its secrets and returning it to the place it was found to placate the possible spirits bound to it. This documentary is beautifully filmed and took years to complete. It was fascinating to see the ritual they used to unbind this statue, as it was cast by Dana, assisted by dozens of witches simultaneously casting the spell in different locations to assist with its outcome. And if you want more from Greg and Dana, they also host the Haunted Objects podcast, where they look into the lore and history of the world's most haunted objects. 4. Return to Oz. This 1985 family fantasy adventure takes place months after Dorothy utters the words, "No place like home." Her aunt and uncle are worried about her. She isn't sleeping, and she is telling fantastical tales of the land of Oz. After being taken to a hospital, she escapes into a storm and again wakes up in Oz, but it's not the happy place she left. Dorothy finds another ragtag group of friends and must save the land of Oz from the influence of the Witch Mombi and the Gnome King. This film is much darker than its 1939 predecessor. You see the land of Oz void of its colours, and it leaves you questioning whether or not it all took place in Dorothy's mind. Fairuza Balk, who portrays Dorothy, would go on to play Witch herself in The Worst Witch, The Craft, and cameos in The Craft's remake. 5. The Pale Blue Eye. In this 2022 horror mystery, it's 1830 and retired detective Augustus Landor is brought in to investigate the murder and hanging of a cadet at a military school, and soon more bodies follow. He enlists the help of outcast cadet Edgar Allan Poe, and together they discover that the bodies, having their hearts removed, are connected to an occult ritual, but not all is as it seems. This film has a gothic feel and a great twist ending. The rituals in the film took inspiration from the writings of witches' sabbaths and symbols from the Grand Grimoire. The Pale Blue Eye is also based on the novel of the same name by Louis Bayard, so that is definitely now on my reading list. And now here are the series. 1. The Owl House. This family fantasy adventure ran from 2020 to 2023 over 3 seasons and follows Luce, who feels like she does not fit in. So when she stumbles through a portal into the magical realm of the Boiling Isles, a land of witches and demons, and is taken in by Ida the Owl Lady, King and Hooty, and befriended by young witches Willow, Gus, and eventually Amity, she believes she has found her people. Not only this, but she is able to live her dream of learning magic and becoming a witch. But will she ever return home? There are many more lessons to learn along the way, and trouble is brewing in the Boiling Isles and threatens Luce's new world. She needs to use all she has learned to save those she has come to love. This series is about finding togetherness in your differences and loving someone for exactly who they are. It also takes inspiration from elemental magic, pokes fun at Harry Potter, and teaches us that magic truly comes from the heart. 2. The Pale Horse. In this 2020 murder mystery, a list of names is found in the shoe of a dead woman. This list includes the name of our protagonist, Mark Eastbrook. Others on the list are dead, or soon end up that way, but they all have something else in common. They visited a small town inn known as the Pale Horse, and the witches who reside there. Mark pays them a visit to try and solve the mystery, but is left with more questions than answers. Soon after this visit, Mark is plagued by nightmares and visions of his dead wife. Is he next? This series has elements of folk horror, and our trio of witches represent the Mother, Maiden, and Crone. They portray an air of mystery that leaves you guessing their true intent. The Pale Horse is one of 4 on-screen adaptations of Agatha Christie's novel of the same name. 3. The Order. This supernatural horror drama ran for 2 seasons between 2019 and 2020 and has Jack Morton starting his scholarship at Belgrave University. But this is because he plans to join the secret magical society on campus, the Hermetic Order of the Blue Rose. He has ulterior motives in doing so, as his estranged father leads the group and Jack holds him responsible for his mother's death. Jack becomes a double agent when he unwittingly joins an even more select group after he becomes a werewolf. Known as the Knights of St. Christopher, the werewolves' goal is to stop the practice of dark magic and wipe out the Order. Soon they must put aside their differences and instead work with the Order, as there are additional threats that could affect them all, but this is an uneasy alliance. This series takes inspiration from Hermetic magic and the Werewolf Witcher trials. Fans of the series The Magicians would really enjoy this series, as it does have very similar vibes. 4. Dead Boy Detectives. In this 2024 supernatural mystery, Edwin Payne and Charles Rowland are teenagers. Forever, they use their afterlife in the UK to solve the unfinished business of ghosts to help them move on, while themselves running from death. One case brings them together with the demonically possessed psychic Crystal Palace, who soon becomes part of their little detective agency. The three are soon off to America and are faced with a reluctant landlord, a new lodger, a demon, a magical cat king, and a witch, the latter of whom has plans for the dead boys. One of the boys is trapped here by the Cat King, and they must resolve their own unfinished business before they can return home, and before their own afterlife catches up with them. This is a fantastic series with some hilarious and brightly coloured scenes contrasting with those of horror and dark themes that can haunt us all. Dead Boy Detectives ties in with the Sandman series, both of these of course being adapted from the interlinking world of the Sandman comics. 5. The Changeling. This 2023 fantasy horror drama follows Emma and Apollo, who are new parents and struggling to find their new normal. After returning to work, Emma is receiving strange texts about Apollo and her baby that quickly disappear as if they never existed. Soon, she suspects something isn't right with the baby. They are divided when Emma commits an unspeakable act before disappearing. Apollo wants to know why his life has been turned upside down and is determined to find Emma. On his travels, he discovers a mysterious new world of witches and trolls that belong in fairy tales, not in modern-day New York. The series, though in a modern setting, has a very retro vibe and is inspired by folklore and fairy tales. We have yet to see its conclusion with season 2, but you can find out now, as it's based off the book of the same name by Victor Lavelle, who also narrates the series. I have one last recommendation from season 4, Occult Confessions. Yes, I have recommended this podcast before, but recently I was asked to join Occult Confessions in a discussion about witches in pop culture. So if you would like more of an idea of my views on witches in film, you can head on over and check it out. I will link it on screen and in the description for this episode. I have really enjoyed season 4 of Which Way, and the recommendations and comments of support from you all have been so amazing and are really what keeps me going on this journey into watching every witchy film and series ever made. I would like to thank you for coming along on this journey. If you are new to my channel, I have also covered the real world witch lore and history of many of those on this list, and you can go and check those out for more. Please remember to complete your Witch Way ritual in liking this video, sharing it with others you think might enjoy it, and subscribing to my channel to stay notified of new content. I very much look forward to you joining me for season 5, so keep those recommendations and requests coming in the comments, and thank you very much for watching here on Witch Way.